Sixers down the Raptors 114-109. I'm Eddie Garcia.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen. Early break. Full show ahead in this Double Barrel Wednesday. Sean Callahan, Parker Gabriel, and a mailbag. As always, get your questions into early break 937@gmail.com. How are you today?
You sound chipper.
I am pretty chipper today. Pretty chipper.
All right, chipper. Then we should have a good show. Harrison's here.
Harrison is here. Good morning to Harrison. I acknowledged him today.
Yeah.
You have to ask at 6:45 if I have or not. We did.
Is he driving? Harrison, just shake your head. Are you driving a dragster? You got driving another car right now. You driving a dragster? Okay. Thought I saw another one out there. That was probably somebody else's.
Yeah, probably somebody else's.
Somebody else is at that. What's that place up there? A daycare
It's a
center?
daycare, yeah. It's a daycare.
Yeah, sometimes those gals.
They park down there
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe that's one of their dragsters.
Probably is. Good chance.
God, it'd be nice to drive a dragster.
You always can.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jake.
No,
Yeah,
no
what's
one's
stopping that?
no one's holding you back or stopping you from driving a dragster.
Yeah, I got back into work mode yesterday.
Well,
I did work.
You told me you weren't going to
I
work
know.
on the show.
Well, Parker told me I was going to work.
He said, I heard you on the show, and that's not the case. You're going to work today.
Yeah.
Nice try.
So I did.
You've had
work.
enough time off one
Yeah,
day.
Yeah.
Your one day was enough time off.
We have
Now
a lot
back
to
work.
talk about. Let's talk about Madden right
We
off
do.
the
We'll
bat.
get to Husker stuff in a second, but we cannot start the show without telling you about John Madden, of course, the longtime coach and broadcaster, passed away yesterday at the age of 85. When I think of NFL, I'm 30 years old. Now, you obviously are 55, and you have had plenty of
Obviously.
coaches and broadcasters out there. But when I think of NFL, at least at a young age, I think of three people, two together, Pat Summerall and John Madden, and then eventually Al Michaels and John Madden. But
Nice.
John Madden
Nice.
is right there
Good job.
in the main focus of, hey, what was the NFL? And I think of myself as a kid getting the video game, Madden 2003, 2004. I mean, John Madden was a big chunk of what football was, especially obviously in the NFL. He was a huge piece of the success of the NFL, both as a coach and a broadcaster. And this is a massive loss for the football community today.
Says Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Quote, I am not aware of anyone who has made a more meaningful impact on the NFL than John Madden, and I know no one who loved the game more. Per your comment about his sort of multifaceted role, people always ask, this is what John Madden said once, people always ask, are you a coach or a broadcaster or a video game guy? He said, I'm a coach, always been a coach. Well, he won the Super Bowl in after the 76 season. And I swear, Jake, I know you don't think of me as an NFL fan, but that was maybe the happiest day of my life as a child.
You were a Raiders fan growing up.
Gigantic.
Yeah.
I can still recite that team almost. I can come up with probably 30 guys on that team. I would cry when the Raiders lost. Now I lost the love when they moved and all that.
Sure, makes sense.
And they became something other than the renegade force that they were. But I did not know, and I bet you did not know, that John Madden compiled a 759 winning percentage, which is still the best among NFL coaches with more than 100 games.
Yeah.
Now,
He coached 10 seasons with the Raiders.
He retired when he was 42 as a coach. Retired at age 42. He was having ulcer issues and then retired to the broadcasting booth. And I'm glad you said what you did. I'm with you. Yeah, it was Madden Summerall. I'm glad you mentioned Pat Summerall.
Those two together is like my first memory of what the NFL was, and a long-term memory for that. Those guys were big time. Where right now, if you watch an NFL game on Fox, the crew is Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
That's to me the equivalent of Summerall.
It was Pat Summerall and John Madden.
Yeah.
That was the crew.
Yeah, Buck Aikman is the equivalent. Now, some people are gonna. I mean, but Aikman's not Madden. But come on,
Nobody's mad.
Yeah, it's like saying the Foo Fighters aren't Elvis. I mean, that's not a good one. That's like saying Weezer is not Elvis.
There you go. There you go. That's better.
That's like saying Weezer's not Elvis. Yeah, Aikman is not Madden. So yes,
this was from Roger Goodell yesterday. How about this? He says, "Quote: Nobody loved football more than Coach. He was football. He was an incredible sounding board to me and so many others. There will never be another John Madden, and we will be forever indebted to him for all he did to make football and the NFL what it is today."
How about 16 Emmy Awards? How about 16 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Sports Analyst Personality? We have not won an Emmy, by the way.
We have not yet. We need to get our name into the hat there.
Is there a hat?
Yeah, is there a hat going around for
is there a cap?
Emmy considerations here? Nominations? We'll put our name in there.
I like
Try to get one.
I like the fact that you are an NFL. I wonder. Yeah. I love the fact that you are dead set on leading the show with Madden.
Well, I just think it's again a guy. I love the NFL. I am a NFL guy through and through.
One of the biggest NFL fans I know.
It's not. I'm a Dolphins fan first, but I love watching all NFL games. NFL Sundays to me are just the best days, the best 7 to 8 hours, 9 hours of TV watching that there is ever. I love it. And John Madden, again, it was a part of that as a kid, and for me, and then also playing video games. Anybody loves the NFL and playing video games. John Madden is the guy. He's got his own video franchise, one of the biggest of all time.
Yeah,
in sports or in video games.
By the way, we should acknowledge 85. He was 85, and the NFL said he died unexpectedly and did not detail a cause. Now that there's an element of sadness to this. Apparently, he wasn't in terribly bad health. So now John in Des Moines said there's a video that needs to be watched. He mentioned that. I'm sure John's listening. What are you hearing from the people?
Well, one second before the people, just regarding his video game, they sold 250 million plus copies of the Madden NFL series on video games.
It's not bad. 250
million plus copies.
That seems like a good number.
And he did broadcast from 1979 to 2008. 11 Super Bowls he broadcasted. 11.
Yes. I mean, yeah. And there were the iconic moments in his coaching career that the Immaculate Reception. Do you know what that is, by the way?
Yes, Franco Harris.
Do you?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Terry Bradshaw passed, should have been picked off, was knocked down. Franco Harris picks it up and goes for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think the debate is, back then, if the ball bounced off an offensive player directly to a teammate, it was illegal. It couldn't bounce off an offensive player. And there was controversy on that play that it might have bounced off Pittsburgh's Frenchie Fuqua.
Good name.
Yeah, Frenchie Fuqua to Franco. Or maybe it hit Jack Tatum. Now, Jake, I will tell you this. Not that you really care, but just to illustrate my level of love and the fact I once was a gigantic fan.
This makes me happy, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the Holy Roller play in 78 as if it happened yesterday. I remember our standing. I was watching the game, and I was like everybody else. My jaw dropped when Kenny Stabler he was getting sacked, and he purposely. I was on the final play, okay, against the Chargers, and he purposely fumbled the ball. And we all at that time you're like, can you do that? So there was a huge controversy. Dave Casper recovered it for the winning touchdown. It was incredibly, because at the time you're like, I don't know if he can do that, but he did it, and it was legal at the time. You could fall.
And they probably smoked cigarettes on the sideline to celebrate back then.
Well, the guys
Or
talk
maybe
about
on the
that.
field.
The guys talk about that. Well, here's what he said. You'll love this. This was what the AP story said. Josh DeBow did a really good story that you're reading. I think you're reading the same one I am. Josh DeBow's the AP writer who handled the obit. He did a really good job on it. He said this about Madden. With his demonstrative demeanor and on the sideline and disheveled look, Madden was the ideal coach for the collection of cast-off and misfits that made up those Raiders teams. This is what John said. John, I call him John. Sometimes guys were disciplinarians in things that didn't make any difference. I was a disciplinarian in jumping off sides. I hated that. Being in bad position and missing tackles, those sort of things. I wasn't, your hair has to be combed. Okay. The Raiders responded. This is what Stabler said. This is probably intuitively why I liked the Raiders at a young age. I sensed this stuff. John Stabler said, John just had a great knack for letting us be what we wanted to be on the field and off the field. How do you repay him for being that way? You win for him. So you could kind of sense that was the way he was, and that's the way it was, that's the way it was in that franchise, even at a young age. They were different. The Raiders were different. They had a personality. Like we long for Nebraska to get back to having a personality.
Yes, we do.
The Raiders were a franchise that you knew what they were about. I mean, and they went away from that, by the way, but and John Madden fostered that sort of culture. And that's part of why people remember him so fondly. But also, you're right. Summerall Madden, the team, right?
Yeah, and there's just no doubt. I mean, John Madden, you knew every time he talked, whether he was coaching or broadcasting, he just loved the game. Like he loved what he was doing. There's never, this is work. This is fun for me. Mm-hmm. He had the telestrator he made popular in terms of as a broadcaster. That's part of his Emmy Awards. He was obviously brought that to life on TV. Was obviously a very well-liked commentator. But this,
what else did he bring to life?
This was boom, boom, boom. Tough acting, think about some of that stuff like that.
Right.
So R.I.P. to John Madden, age 85. Again, unexpected passing yesterday morning.
Yes,
but it's a big
announced
loss
by the NFL.
Big loss for the football community out there.
What else is on your mind there, Chipper?
Oh, we want to hear from you guys. 402-464-5685. By the way, before we move on, this is from Breezy regarding announcers. He says, all-time great announcers, NFL, John Madden, NCAA football, Keith Jackson, the Masters, Jim Nance. He says, who would be NBA and MLB? Well, MLB, I think clearly is Vin Scully, right?
You're good at this.
I would say, I think MLB.
Clearly?
I think pretty clearly.
Joe Garagiola back in the day.
I still think Vince Scully, he was set with the Dodgers forever. Forever.
The guys my age will remember Joe Garagiola. I'm trying to think of who else in the.
I don't think there's really a great contender for Vince Scully.
Okay, now you need to
NBA?
go. I need you to help me. Oh, well, I mean, what are we talking about? Are we talking about play-by-play man or analyst?
That's a good question.
Because Hubie is as good as you could find. But now Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, as I said yesterday.
Those guys are not the ones you think of. Historically for the NBA?
Well, give me a name then.
Well, Marv Albert.
Yeah, play-by-play.
Yeah.
Play-by-play. For sure. That's a good name. Give me another one.
Well, not yet, but I think that Mike Breen is up there, right? He's been doing play-by-play for a long time at ESPN.
He's really good.
Bang.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. He's done NBA Finals.
Harry Carey, someone else says for baseball. I still go Vince Scully over Harry Carey.
Yeah, I'm deficient when it comes to the NBA, except Hubie for a long time, I'd say was really good. Somebody's gonna have to give me another name, but I'm pretty good with.
You go Craig Sager for the NBA also.
No, sideline reporter. Yeah. The late Craig Sager. No, he doesn't belong in that pantheon.
R.I.P. Craig Sager.
Yeah.
At least give him that.
Yeah, but we're not talking about sideline reporters here.
Dick Stockton. Someone says
Stockton.
John DeMoy says Dick Stockton.
Thank you, John in Des Moines. Dick Stockton. That's a good name. Marv Albert's a good name that you forwarded. And I'd say for analyst, I'm going to keep saying Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. Those are the guys now at this time.
But who was it back in the day? Back in the 90s, 80s?
Tommy Heinsohn was one of them. John in Des Moines and our friend Chris at the Baldwin shop would remember Tommy Heinsohn doing games for a period. I'm trying to think who else.
Well, if someone says Hubie Brown should be the guy.
Yeah, Hubie's
been a long time analyst.
Yeah, Hubie. I'll just stick with Hubie.
Hubie's great.
Yeah.
So
okay, I think we should. I don't know. I think we should get to. Hey, Jake, it's 6:16.
Harrison says Chick Hearn.
Thank you.
Good name also.
Thank you, Harrison. Yeah, he was mainly associated with the Lakers, I think. Okay, we got to get to. There was some news late yesterday.
We have news. Husker news.
It's not. I can't call it breaking news because this has been speculated, but there's more teeth to the speculation now, as written by our Parker Gabriel. I don't know. It must have been around dinner time last night. But it's clear what's happening with the staff at this point, or it's clearer, and I think we're headed toward resolution. And Jake, the quarterback situation is becoming clear. But this is what Parker wrote, and we'll have Parker on later.
Gabriel.
Yeah, this is what Parker Gabriel wrote yesterday. He wrote that Scott Frost is likely going to shift Mike Dawson to defensive line coach, which, Jake, you remember that was his position in 2018.
Right. That was kind of what we assumed might happen there, since he'd already been that coach previously.
Right. He left for the NFL, and then they brought in Tony Tuioti, who left for Oregon last week. Okay, we've established that.
Yes.
As Parker noted, several of Nebraska's outside linebackers also essentially played defensive end. Think Caleb Tanner and Garrett Nelson. Okay. Right?
Yes.
In fact, when some of the coaches like Eric Chenander talks about the defensive line, he talks about it 2 down linemen, Tuioti's guys, former defensive line coach, Tuioti's guys, and then 2 defensive ends, Tanner and Garrett Nelson. By the way, those guys are pretty good. Those groups, by the way, often worked and drilled together in 2021. So, as Parker writes, Dawson's shift is likely to happen, the Journal Star has learned, though it may not be technically finalized until some other dominoes fall, like the running backs coach. Now, assuming that happens, which I think is a safe assumption, then Frost can hire a special teams coordinator and a running backs coach. And the special teams coordinator, it really, really looks at this point like Bill Busch is the guy. It's
been that way for a while now, it feels like.
Yeah.
That's kind of been our assumption. I mean, I know Brumfield got in that conversation from Virginia, but it's pretty much been, hey, we kind of expect Bill Busch to be the guy until he's not the guy.
Well, yeah. I mean, seems like a natural pairing with Busch and Dawson because they've worked together. Now, Busch also has Bill Busch, Jake, he has a long history as an excellent defensive backs coach, and you might have him coach like the nickel or help with the defensive backs. You know, Chenander coaches the nickels right now. Now, maybe Bill takes on the nickel position, right? So think last year that was JoJo Doman and Isaac Gifford. He wouldn't have a huge batch of guys, but he could be helping with the DBs. So you could do that. He's produced a Thorpe Award winner, which I don't think anybody on Nebraska's staff could say right now. I don't even know if Nebraska's had a Jim Thorpe Award winner. I don't know if they have. I don't. But Busch has produced a Thorpe Award winner. Okay, that would leave the running backs coach, which Parker mentions a couple guys. There are several high-profile assistants looking for jobs right now, including Florida's Greg Knox and LSU's Kevin Falk. You know who Kevin Falk is?
Kevin Falk, yes. How could I forget Kevin Falk? He was a longtime New England Patriot running back. Super Bowl winning running back with the Patriots
He
as
was,
well.
yeah, he was at LSU, Kevin Falk, with Mickey Joseph for 4 years. Knox, if you watched Florida and UCF in the bowl game, I don't know what the hell bowl game that was, but I watched it.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, it's the Tax Slayer maybe, or
That's
something.
probably what it was. Yeah.
That he was the head. He served as the head coach in the absence of the fired Dan Mullen, the very personable and popular Dan Mullen. Kevin Falk is a younger assistant who is a younger guy. But he was one of the best backs in LSU history. So his name is prominent. So, and I don't know. People keep saying Ron Brown. They keep bringing up Ron Brown.
Well, people love Ron Brown. Ron Brown's been a long time staff member with Nebraska and successful in his time at Nebraska. So that's why he'll get brought up.
Yeah.
By
The
fans.
other reason he gets brought up, or maybe not, but man, he recruited 44 NFL players.
Well, yeah. Again, he's got a great history at Nebraska. He's done a great job here. That's a reason why people would like that hire to happen, because he's been successful here. I know he's a little older at this point, but he's still working hard.
Yeah, I think he's 64.
Which is also Mark Whipple's age.
Right. And Ron played at Brown University with Mark Whipple. They were on the same teams.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. I just want to stop and do something here that you'll find fascinating. Here's some Ron Brown recruits to the University of Nebraska. I give you Mike Brown, Ralph Brown, Johnny Mitchell, Grant Wistrom, Tracy Wistrom, Matt Davison, Michael Booker, Jay Foreman, Nate Swift, Kitty Wilhite, Brooke Behringer, Greg Austin, John Bostic. The list is borderline incredible. Tyrone Leggett, Kyler Reed. I'm trying to think of some guys in your realm.
I know all those names so far.
Do you?
Yeah.
I give you Andy Janovich.
Sure.
Yeah, his recruiting prowess is incredible. It's incredible. Like I said, 44 NFL players, 4 first-round picks. But Scott does like him in his current role, which is senior offensive analyst.
As long as he is a part of the team in some capacity, I think fans will be happy, whether it's running backs coach or just analyst.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
I think that Ron Brown has been an exceptional part of this team and this program for many, 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 many years.
Okay, then the quarterback situation is interesting. So, we talked about yesterday, Nebraska extended a scholarship offer to Chubba Purdy, who's a Florida State transfer, who, by the way, my brother's not that high on, but I did hear
he hasn't played very much at Florida State.
Yeah, my brother's season ticket,
despite being Mike Norvell's handpicked guy.
Yeah, but anyway, I did hear a coach yesterday. A coach told me, I didn't hear him because I heard it because he told me that the Florida State liked Chubba. Chubba Purdy is probably the sort of the lead guy on Nebraska's radar, except there's the development is this. Okay, Purdy has 4 years of eligibility, Jake. I think what you're looking at here is that Nebraska will try to land 2 transfer quarterbacks, a veteran, and then, as Parker points out, a younger player such as Purdy, to add to the room with the scholarship guys Logan Smothers, Heinrich Harburg, and Richard Torres. Now, I'm told those guys are all good with this. So that quarterback room could undergo quite an injection of new talent in the name of perhaps Chubba Purdy, and then an older player. Now, what I've heard yesterday is that maybe it won't be Casey Thompson.
Okay.
That they're not. My guess is it will not be Casey Thompson.
Why?
They're just interested in others.
That's the best way to want somebody else above him.
They think they can do better than that.
I'd be curious who that person is then.
We don't know
who those people are.
We don't know. I mean, me and Parker at least don't know who the other guy is. There's another guy they're set on, but the name is elusive.
Maybe we'll be surprised when that news comes out.
I hope people understand that this is what I'd like to impart to people. So Chubba Purdy announced that Nebraska had what? I don't know, offered him something.
Offered.
I guess you offer.
In the transfer portal, I guess you can offer
I don't
now.
know how the hell that works. But what I want to tell you, Jake, is that most of the quarterbacks lay really low in this and don't show their cards. They don't do interviews, and they don't even announce who's looking at them on social media. Many of them don't. So there's a lot of unknowns in this conversation. It's sort of interesting to me that way. A lot of these guys hold their cards close. You don't see them on social media saying, here's my list. This is what I'm considering. Like high school kids often do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my top 4.
Here's my top 20.
It's kind of like they're over that now, right? It seems like it. I don't know why.
I still see a lot of it out there.
Not much with the quarterbacks.
Maybe not quarterbacks, but every other spot still does that.
Yeah. But not with the quarterback. So there's somebody out there that they're interested in that we don't necessarily know at this point. So there's some pretty significant updates there.
So yeah, we will hopefully have official news on Bill Busch soon.
I don't know. Does it
soon?
Why does it matter what it
I just like having clarity instead of just always.
Well, we just gave you some clarity.
It's not clear until it's clear. You know, it's clear.
Why do you need these announcements to be made now? I mean,
clarity.
How would it help your life?
Sure, let me tell you why. As we end the year, I like to go into the next year knowing things, not having not having some loose ends somewhere as I begin a new calendar of my life.
Would the champagne taste better if Frost?
The champagne would taste pretty damn good if
Oh,
I had clarity.
That's what you want.
I can enter Monday knowing I don't have to worry about a quarterback or a staff member. I know what it is going to be. Happy New Year. Let's get this started in 2022.
Your life has apparently much more structure and order than mine does, because that's about 29th on my list of wants.
Well, it's not number one for me, but I like clarity. I like
29 might be a stretch, by the way. I'd say it's in the 50s of things I care about.
I'd like to hear that list of things above that. What's number one?
Yeah, well, not all of them.
What's the top 10?
I don't think I could share 9 of them, but
I figured probably not, but thought I'd ask at least.
Yeah, thank you, Jake.
So there you go. There's an update.
There's your show.
We'll talk more about that with Parker Gabriel in the 7 o'clock hour, but I'll talk more about it next with Husker Online Sean Callahan on Early Break on the Ticket.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at OutdoorNebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Guys, we need to talk about a problem plaguing our society today. chronic fruitcake slander. Now, maybe you're thinking, I've had fruitcake. It's dry and heavy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're eating the wrong fruitcake, because Grandma's fruitcake is anything but. Their recipe uses the highest quality fruits, hand-sorted nuts, and adds the perfect amount of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Their desserts are known and loved across the country, and they're made right here in Southeast Nebraska. If you haven't tried them yet, you're missing out. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at PriceRightAuto.com.
At Supreme Spa and Pool, Christmas is here. Give a little cheer. Luxury hot tubs in stock. Don't forget our cash and carry hot tubs also in stock from $29.99. The Stealth Semi In-Ground Pool from $79.99. Also in-ground pools from $29.99. Don't wait until next year for above ground pools. Christmas is here. Give a little cheer. Supreme Spa and Pool.com.
Look around your house. You don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars, shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
This. Anybody who knows me knows I was cocky out of the womb.
Is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebraska fans have been begging for some clarity over the last month because they're impatient, number one, but also just want answers as we head into the new year, like myself.
You are impatient.
I'm part of the problem, I suppose, here.
I don't think everybody's impatient.
A lot of people are asking every day.
I am
but
not impatient.
We found out this week, Sip, that Nebraska has offered a Florida State quarterback in the transfer portal, Chubba Purdy. We mentioned that earlier in the show. We're joined now by Husker Online Sean Callahan. Sean, what do you know about Chubba Purdy, and do you think it would be a good fit here in Lincoln if you were to choose the Huskers?
Well, I think the question is, if they took Purdy, would he be one of possibly two quarterbacks? I mean, I think that's really something to zone in on.
Okay.
Because I don't know if he's necessarily who you want to say would be the starter immediately next year with such a limited body of work. But he's a guy that is a great prospect that could develop. Absolutely be a great addition to the program. I think his exit from Florida State still is somewhat interesting. He went out to Clemson with them for their game after playing, I believe, against UMass the week before that. That was the only game he had played all year. And then didn't fly home with the team, just left with his family at that point. And it preserved his red shirt. I think he was going to probably play down the stretch for Florida State more than 4 games. So he's a guy that has 4 years of eligibility remaining still, even though he's been in college for 2 years. He's a Phoenix guy. Mark Whipple's a Phoenix guy. So there's some natural connections, I think, with Whipple and him. just right there. So, I'm more interested. Would he be it, or is there potentially a scenario where they would try to go after 2 quarterbacks with Purdy being a part of that? So I think this story is far from complete.
Sean Callahan joins us from HuskerOnline.com. Sean, now what everybody's going to wonder is so there's this mystery quarterback, or there's the mystery quarterbacks maybe that Nebraska may be eyeing of the variety of older quarterbacks. What are the names you're hearing? Is there any name you'd even want to throw out there, name or names?
I think it's purely a guess. I mean, you've heard some people throw out Casey Thompson's names, but I can tell you he's not the lead guy right now. I think he's one of the guys maybe in the conversation, but I think the guy that it could end up being is someone that we don't even know about, or don't it's not necessarily being discussed. And the transfer portal is difficult because it's not public. Guys don't. It's not like the recruiting process.
Mm-hmm.
You don't interview after you get offers, and these guys, maybe 1 out of 10 guys will pick up their phone and talk to you, and typically the guys that do are ones that are a little bit more desperate for some marketing or attention.
Okay.
But a lot of the transfer portal recruiting is kept under the radar because guys don't want to let other teams know that, maybe they're shutting it down, or, they've made up their mind on what they're going to do. So a lot of guys in the portal, like Casey Thompson hasn't made one tweet on anything. So you might have offers. Like Miles Brennan, we had heard had 25 or 30 options if he wanted to leave.
Never heard from him.
So I think it's really dangerous to make assumptions on the portal of kind of what's going on out there, because most of the best guys from the Power 5 schools keep it really under wraps.
Sean, it sounds like Nebraska might move Mike Dawson to defensive line coach, which could open up a chance for running backs coach to be hired. Do you believe they would stick with Ron Brown, or do you believe they'll go outside the program to hire somebody that's out there elsewise, Sean?
Well, I think Scott Frost has already kind of hinted that they were not going to stick with Ron Brown there. I mean, on his radio show about 2 weeks ago, he appreciated Ron in the role he's at, but said the recruiting portion of it's just not made for something just not a direction he wants to go with Ron Brown. And I think with Dawson, you got to. I think the title would be more defensive front because he wouldn't be just the D-line coach. I think he would continue to coach what's called the boundary outside linebackers, which are Caleb Tanner, Garrett Nelson, Feldarius Payne, and then obviously the 3 defensive linemen. So it would be more of a title of defensive front coach Mike Dawson.
Okay.
And then I think that paves the way for Bill Busch to possibly move into some sort of assistant secondary coach role, and obviously coach special teams. And then at that point, you go out and you get yourself a running backs coach. And when you just break it down on the surface, getting Mickey Joseph and Bill Busch on this staff, it's those are 2 of the best recruiters Scott Frost has added to his staff in 4 years, and he still gets to have a running backs coach. And it will be interesting what direction he goes with this hire. I know this week they're talking to guys as we speak, so they're not going to probably make any kind of sort of public announcement on the staff until that running backs coach is complete.
Bill Busch, by the way, Sean, Bill Busch, National Defensive Backs Coach of the Year in 2012 at Utah State. It would make a lot of sense to have Bill Busch help with the secondary. Probably, are we talking about the nickels? Probably, is that what we're talking about?
Depends, because Eric Chenander coached that group last year, but obviously Bill Busch could coach the nickels. I mean, that would make sense. Then it could free Chenander back up, and you hate to see a guy like Tuioti leave. But in some ways, it's made this a little easier. When you see it come together at this point, and you study Tuioti's history. This was the 3 years he'd been here was the longest he had been at any job other than Hawaii, where he's originally from. He spent a lot of time in Hawaii before that, but before that he hadn't moved around quite a bit. So I think from a player coach on the field, he did a great job. they're technically really the guys on the field. Mike Dawson recruited Ty Robinson. Mike Dawson recruited Casey Rogers. So I look at some of the guys out there. It's not like he's got recruits directly tied to him on that D line. That you'd be worried about. So it's a loss, obviously, but I think it's one Nebraska will be able to move on from. And I think getting Bill Bush back active on the recruiting trail, he's one of the 2 or 3 best recruiters I've covered in my 20 plus years around Nebraska football.
Sean, Jake has some concerns about this staff not being announced in time for New Year's, and it would
on, don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
Somehow mar his New Year's Eve party if it's not announced. When do we expect this to be official? Well, Jake,
I think
down his champagne with a smile on his face.
Yeah, Jake, you're one of those guys that were probably mad the staff wasn't announced like the 2 days after the Iowa game.
Not true. Not true, Sean. Not true at all.
He wants it now, Sean. Now.
We went through like a phase of Husker fans that were furious that Mark Whipple wasn't announced before the ACC title.
Yeah, we did. We definitely heard that.
But I think a couple dates to know here.
Okay.
January 14th. That's the day coaches can go that week. I guess the 13th or the Thursday the 13th. That's the first day you can go back on the road. The 14th, that weekend, is going to be an official visit weekend.
Okay.
January 18th is your first day classes. So,
okay, first day classes.
I think those are all dates to zone in on. But you really have 2 weeks. But I would think in about a week we'll get this thing announced. But there's nothing that can be done on the trail with a coach. And they need to add a running back to this roster. You look at the roster right now; they got 5. They would like to have 6.
Okay.
On there.
Okay.
And so, with this running backs coach they bring in, the ability to get one more guy here over that open period in January.
Yeah, they need to get a big hoss back there at running back. Someone 6'1" in the 225 range, right?
Yeah, they need 1,000 yards. I mean, I looked at Minnesota. I didn't stay up and watch.
Hey, who won that game?
Minnesota won 18-6. But their 2 running backs, by the way, like their 3rd and 4th string guys from the preseason, rushed for like 180 and 150.
Jeez. There you go, Sean. There you go.
Sean, this bowl season, you've seen already several cancellations. Yesterday, the Holiday Bowl was canceled 5 hours before the game even happened. I know, obviously, it sucks to not be invited to a bowl game, but is there a part of you that's kind of like, well, I'm happy not to deal with this hassle of potentially having the bowl game canceled this year?
Sure.
Yeah, that would have not been fun. I just think about this, Jake. If you guys said, we're taking the ticket on the road, we're taking the ticket on the road. We're doing all the shows from San Diego.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they pull the plug on the whole thing.
5 hours before the game.
5 hours the same day.
Oh, that was a mess.
It's terrible.
The latest I read is they're keeping NC State and San Diego to try to find an opponent.
Oh, geez.
So I don't know where that's going to go at this point, but yeah, it's just disappointing. Like, the one I'm watching closely now is LSU playing K-State. Everything we've seen and heard about bowl games being canceled, a team like LSU is an easy target to cancel. They got a new coaching staff coming in. A lot of their coaches have moved on or aren't a part of things. So the fact that game is still alive at this point is kind of a surprise to me. And I know Kansas State people are worried about that one.
Sean, what are you suggesting here? That LSU would create a scenario where it has too much illness?
Well, they're just not there's just not a lot of motivation for LSU to play Kansas State.
We're in a wonderful period.
You think about what NC State, or not NC State, but
UCLA.
They were down a lot of guys, and they were about to get their butt whooped against Wake Forest. Let's call it what it is. Wake Forest was motivated. They had all their guys, all their coaches, and A&M had a bunch of guys opt out, transfer, and they were down a few position groups, and that kind of got the ball rolling on a lot of what's going on right now in these bowl games. They were the first one, and we've seen several others kind of follow with these issues. But yeah, it's just disappointing, and I'm sure some day way down the road when the 30 for 30 is done on COVID. You know, this will be a part. I mean, just how many layers of COVID we've dealt with in the last 2 years, and this is just another layer of it.
Sean, always good stuff. Thanks for the time. Happy New Year, and we'll chat with you next week.
All right, guys. Hopefully, we're talking about some new coaching final, so Jake can settle down for next week.
I need some clarity, Sean. Clarity for the new year. All right, good
Thanks,
stuff.
guys.
Thank you, Sean.
Sean Callahan, Husker Online.
So what happened with the Holiday Bowl? It's interesting to hear Sean just raising the issue of LSU trying to kind of sneak off into the night without playing.
Well, they wouldn't be alone in this, apparently, with how this is going.
Well, there was a lot of sort of innuendo being made by North Carolina State toward UCLA yesterday when UCLA canceled its appearance in the Holiday Bowl 5 hours before the game.
5 hours.
I'm reading an LA Times article right now. This is not just Sipple talking or Jake talking. This is real. The late notice by UCLA touched off anger and conspiracy theories among the Wolfpack, with Coach Dave Doran describing a lack of communication from UCLA regarding the possibility that the Bruins would be unable to play. This is what Doran told reporters at the team hotel.
I can't wait to hear this.
This is very healthy.
I can't wait to hear this.
Felt lied to be honest.
That's his first comment.
Yeah. We're in a very, very healthy period.
Keep going.
Felt lied to be honest, Doran told reporters at the team hotel. We felt like UCLA probably knew something was going on, didn't tell anybody on our side. We had no clue they were up against that. I don't feel it was very well handled from their university. It would have been great to have a heads up or two, so 2 or 3 days ago, we could have found a plan B.
And not travel to San Diego
for 5 days,
all the way across the country.
Not practice for 20 days and then left their families for Christmas and went to San Diego for 5 days in practice for nothing.
For nothing. Felt lied to, honestly.
That's what he said.
I love it.
NC State players, by the way,
keep going on this,
Wolfpack receiver Thayer Thomas suggested on Twitter that the Bruins backed out of the game after voting not to play, which was immediately refuted by UCLA players. But this is where we're at. I mean, there's a lot of skepticism, like Sean talking about LSU. Yeah, I don't know if they really want to play, so look for them to
K-State
back
fans
out.
are concerned LSU will pull out of the bowl game.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful. So UCLA pulled the plug 5 hours before the game.
5 hours. Have some decency. Pull it the day before at least, not the same day.
Yeah. I mean, this is amazing.
There's probably workers at the stadium at that point trying to get ready for the game.
That's the thing that we don't talk about enough is these cities that I've been to San Diego. Jake, it was a big deal to the city of San Diego to have the Holiday Bowl. Okay.
It's a good bowl.
Have the Holiday Bowl. It is. It's a big deal out there. There's a lot of people involved in making that work. There's a lot of attached to it in the days leading to it. Petco Park is I mean, Nebraska's appearances were always well attended, and it felt like a huge event. And now it's just treated like a pickup game. I mean, it's so bizarre. There we are.
Though. Yep, that's
there
where
we are.
When we come back, we'll have Song of the Day and the Mailbag on Early Break on the Ticket.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Look around your house. you don't really have any room for Christmas gifts. Things are stuffed into closets, and your garage is a mess too. For a unique gift this holiday, call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for their Christmas organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that will be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. Storage options for cabinets, monkey bars shelving, or slat wall. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638. That's 730-1638.
Hi, this is Sean Callahan with Koppel Chevrolet GMC. New vehicle production has been increasing, but the lots will not be filling up anytime soon. In fact, most vehicles are being pre-sold and are leaving the same week as they arrive. If you want your new Chevrolet or GMC, this is a great time to build a vehicle and place an order. Our sales team will work right with you to build the exact vehicle you want. At Koppel, we appreciate your business and sell vehicles at a fair price. So come check us out or visit us online at koppelcars.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Breakfast tacos, brisket tacos, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
At Supreme Spa and Pool, Christmas is here. Give a little cheer. Luxury hot tubs in stock. Don't forget our cash and carry hot tubs also in stock from $29.99. The Stealth semi in-ground pool from $79.99. Also in-ground pools from $29.99. Don't wait until next year for above ground pools. Christmas is here. Give a little cheer. Supreme Spa and Pool.com.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with the COVID vaccine. Everyone, even kids 5 years and older, can get the vaccine too. If you've been vaccinated, now you can get your booster shot if you qualify. Stay strong, get vaccinated, and learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Guys, we need to talk about a problem plaguing our society today: chronic fruitcake slander. Now, maybe you're thinking, I've had fruitcake. It's dry and heavy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're eating the wrong fruitcake, because Grandma's fruitcake is anything but. Their recipe uses the highest quality fruits, hand-sorted nuts, and adds the perfect amount of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Their desserts are known and loved across the country, and they're made right here in Southeast Nebraska. If you haven't tried them yet, you're missing out. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
You love to bash his sports takes.
Now, will you feel like an idiot if you're
No,
a big tough?
never feel like an
If
idiot.
you're a big tough guy this morning,
But you really love to voice your displeasure for his music
he
choices.
stumbled on an issue that I did not think would generate this much passion and discussion.
It's time for Jake's questionable song of the day on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So he's leaving the life he's come to know. Ooh. He said he's going. He said he's going back to find. Going back to find. Ooh, what's left of his world. The world he left behind not so long ago. He's leaving on that midnight train to Georgia. Yeah, said he's going back to a simpler the place and time. Oh, yes, he is. I'll be with him.
Song of the day.
I know you will.
Wow, nice. Well done. Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips. 464-568-51 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
In my world is his. He kept dreaming, ooh, that someday he'd be a star, superstar, but he didn't get far. But he sure found out the hard way that dreams don't always come true. Oh no.
I tell you what, if you were not watching right now on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers video stream, you really missed out on an epic performance by Sip. Usually I'm the one that's doing air guitar and singing. Sip said off the mic, he said, I should have been a background singer in a previous life.
Yeah, it should be Gladys Knight and the Sips. Not Gladys Knight and the Pips.
I mean, you put on a good performance there. You really nailed the background interjections there, you know.
Yeah, I know all those words in the background.
You were doing it on the camera, which is great.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you all saw that.
Hey, thanks, Jake. I mean, that was you did it. I mean, you
Gladys
just nailed
Knight
it.
and the Sips.
You did. I should have been a Pip. I would have been a good Pip. I'd be the only white Pip.
Somebody had to be, you know.
Yeah, I could pull it off though. I could pull the dance moves off.
Yeah, I actually could see you doing that back in the 70s.
You did it. Now, what was your inspiration?
You told me about this band recently. This group, and so I looked them up.
Yeah,
and I liked the song, so I played it.
Did
today.
you?
Yeah, that was my inspiration.
Okay.
You mentioned this from I think probably the 70s channel you listened to, maybe, or somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of the song that I was.
And so I played this one.
Okay,
It was good.
I'm gonna do two things at once. I'm gonna write the song. I'm gonna look up another great Gladys Knight song.
I enjoyed the song, and so I played it for my song of the day.
Thank you. There's another song.
Do you have a rating?
Yeah. Okay, I'll rate it. I will rate that at 9.8.
Whoa!
Well, it's one of the best Motown. It's one of the absolute best Motown songs.
And you were doing the background vocals.
There's a great song by Gladys Knight and the Pips called "I've Got to Use My Imagination" from '74 that I've been listening to lately. We'll play that after the show. I've got to use my imagination.
Okay.
But that song is not. I've got to use my imagination is not as good as the song you played, which is a 9.8. Now we got to get to Harrison.
We need to.
This is going to be
guess
interesting.
Harrison's score, who I don't think really likes that type of music. He's not an old school guy at heart.
Careful with that.
Well, he gave Weezer a 9.7, which was a 90s song. I believe late 90s, early 2000s, say it ain't so. But whenever we go old, typically it's not a very high score.
I think it's hard to dislike the song you played today, though.
Well, Harrison might dislike it. Let's guess. I'm going to go 4 flat.
Ooh. I'd be really disappointed if he gave that song a 4 flat, obviously. I don't think he's going to give it a super high score, but 4 flat would indicate he didn't like it. And I just don't understand. It's like saying I don't like Hershey's bars. Like, what do you mean? I don't like pancakes. I don't like the sunshine on my face.
It's just not possible.
Right. He gave it a 5.5.
6, he says +3 for the changeup, which means
no.
That either means it's a 5.7 or it was a 3.
Yeah.
What does the +3 mean?
I don't know, but he gave it a 6.
So it could have been a 3 or a 5.
Okay, what else we got to talk about?
Oh, we got the mailbag.
Oh, yeah, let's do the mailbag.
Should I get some ratings first?
Yeah.
I'm curious what people think about
Gladys Knight Pips
and the Sips.
Yeah.
The Pips also knows the Sips. Okay, 8. Harper's dad gives it a 2. 9.9 from Ohio Husker. 100 from somebody.
100.
100.
A hundo.
Yeah,
Benjamin.
That's a big number.
Benji.
Breezy says bringing back great memories of Sip's childhood. I bet 9.
Yeah.
Joe and Bowler says, wow, what a great throwback. 8.
Okay.
8.6, 7.5 from Jennifer, an 8 from Brian T, a 9 from Rod, 8.2 from Kent. Look at these high scores today.
Really high.
Shock says 6.5. Bird in Columbus is a 5. Fat Phil says 7.5. Interesting pick, he says.
Yeah, interesting. Very
Well
interesting.
done, Jake, by Brown Magic, 8.5. East Lincoln West says 9.6.
High.
You nailed it.
Hi.
9.7 from Yankee Hill Matt.
Thank you.
Grandpa Rick says 6, an extra 2 for the sip dance.
Okay.
8, and the
Yes.
background vocals.
Yes.
And 9.5 from Valerie. Tiny Pig, 9.2.
Tiny Pig's a new name, right?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah. Welcome, Tiny Pig.
And Corey Lincoln wants to correct me as usual. I didn't know what year Say It Ain't So came out by Weezer because they have had music still coming out. I get confused. That song was from 1994, not the early 2000s. I said 90s or early 2000s, to be fair.
That's
So,
before
94.
Harrison was born.
Yep, it was. Not me, though. I was 3. Let's get to, we got a few minutes for the
Yeah, let's do it, let's
mailbag,
do it.
so why not do it right now? Okay, we've got several suggestions here from Michael. He says, what is a New Year's resolution that you honestly actually kept for more than a few weeks?
No fast food.
I never did one. I've never been able to achieve that.
No fast food. I've stuck with that.
How long ago was that? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. I mean, now I will have an occasional fry. Okay.
Oh, just one. One fry?
I've gone through I've gone through and got fries. I have. In moments of weakness. But I have not eaten a burger or anything like substantial.
That's sad. Yeah, that's really sad.
Why
to
is it
me.
sad? I don't really miss it, to be honest.
It's delicious. I don't care if it's unhealthy. It's delicious. It's about taste here.
When you get to be my age, you start thinking about the end and staving off the end a little bit. And that's
When I'm 55, I might feel that.
Yeah. Yes. All right, keep going.
Okay, this is from Husker X's and O's. He said, how would you stop COVID from ruining bowl season?
That's a good question.
Stop testing.
No, could you adopt the NFL's guidelines? Would that help?
Yeah.
I'm not Fauci here.
Well,
I'm
NCAA
not
is
an
going.
expert.
They have gone from 10 to 5 days down. If you have a
What do you mean
positive
10
test.
to 5 days?
And if you had a positive test, you had to sit out for 10 days previously. Now it's down to 5 days as of yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, the CDC changed its guidelines. I don't have an answer for that. And people don't like that answer, that you don't have an answer. But I don't have an answer, so there you go.
Also from Husker X's and O's, he says, why is the SEC struggling in bowl games? 0-4 so far.
0-4. Hold on. I'm glad he asked
Because
that
it just means more in the SEC with the playoff. That's all they care about is the playoff, I suppose.
That's not a good answer.
I don't know how many players are sitting out in these bowl games that have played so far in the SEC, or if any have sat out.
So what we have so far is Army beat Missouri. You know that.
I watched that game.
Edged Missouri.
Yeah, last second field goal.
Yes, thank you. UCF beat Florida.
Not a surprise.
Controlled the game. Houston beat Auburn yesterday.
Yes, they did by 3.
Yeah, in the first game of the day, which started in the morning. Houston beat Auburn, and then last night, Texas Tech drilled,
walloped
Leach's Mississippi State. 0-4 SEC, where I have said in a sort of obnoxious tone that they play the best football in the Southeast. Once again, my obnoxiousness comes back to bite me.
Well, that's pretty typical. Pretty standard around here. Thank you for all the mailbag questions. We're out of time. Late as usual there. So keep them coming, though, next week.
0-4 SEC.
Yep. I think they'll get some wins. All they care about is getting 2 wins, 3 wins overall in the playoff.
I just want Alabama to win that.
Well,
2.
You know I don't.
Roll Tide.
And I will be the first one bragging on the air or talking about if Cincinnati were to somehow upset them.
Yeah,
somehow.
If Alabama wins, I want the fight song fired up.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, come on.
No. You have your USC fight song every day. That's enough for the fight song. Top of the hour next on Early Break on the Ticket.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with the COVID vaccine. Everyone, even kids 5 years and older, can get the vaccine too. If you've been vaccinated, now you can get your booster shot if you qualify. Stay strong, get vaccinated, and learn more at healthylincoln.org.
Guys, we need to talk about a problem plaguing our society today: chronic fruitcake slander. Now, maybe you're thinking, I've had fruitcake. It's dry and heavy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're eating the wrong fruitcake, because Grandma's fruitcake is anything but. Their recipe uses the highest quality fruits, hand-sorted nuts, and adds the perfect amount of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Their desserts are known and loved across the country, and they're made right here in Southeast Nebraska. If you haven't tried them yet, you're missing out. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air. At Supreme Spa and Pool, Christmas is here. Give a little cheer. Luxury hot tubs in stock. Don't forget our cash and carry hot tubs also in stock from $29.99. The Stealth semi in-ground pool from $79.99. Also in-ground pools from $29.99. Don't wait until next year for above ground pools. Christmas is here. Give a little cheer. Supreme Spa and Pool.com.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at gainatrucking.com.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back to Hour 2 on a Double Barrel Wednesday. Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break. Fun show so far. You got the podcast at theticketfm.com. Good stuff as always from Sean Callahan. Enjoyed the mailbag questions. And again, if you missed the news from yesterday, John Madden passed away at age 85. The very big part of the history of the NFL, both for his coaching, his broadcasting, and video game came from him. R.I.P. John Madden. You were a big Raiders fan as a kid. So
Thank you, Jake.
You watched Raiders football when he was coaching.
Oh, yeah. That was the heart of my NFL, my period when I followed the NFL closely, age saying.
Can you imagine a coach in today's day and age retiring at age 42 with that kind of success?
Yeah. No,
these guys get hired post 42 a lot. 42 is still pretty young in the coaching profession.
Yeah, he was hired at age 32.
I mean, Nick Saban's 70 right now.
Yeah.
He's still probably got several years left.
Yep.
There was a time we thought that Bill Snyder was ancient for coaching at 73 years old, and Saban looks plenty fine at age 70.
He does. Now, Madden, again, hired at 32. So he got 10 years in before. It was ulcers that I think the ulcers pushed him toward a less pressure-filled life. How about that?
Yeah.
By the way, a couple things to add. We've talked about the Frank Solich curse. And
we need to address the Frank Solich curse more on this show.
Yeah, and here's one reason. I thought about it yesterday. NC State, part of the reason NC State was so dismayed. Chris, hold on, Chris.
Yeah, hang on, Chris, who's been patiently waiting on the phone.
Chris, Baldwin Shop, couple points before we get to you, and you might even want to weigh in on this. NC State, one of the reasons the Wolfpack were so dismayed by UCLA's decision to decision by the fact that UCLA couldn't play in the Holiday Bowl. NC State was seeking its second 10-win season in the school's 137 years of football. NC State is seeking, because I guess
they're still trying to play somebody.
Yeah, NC State is seeking its second 10-win season, trying to celebrate its second 10-win season in the school's 137 years of football. The football gods understand the football. I think the karma's killing Nebraska right now. It's very possible, because you read that and go, oh yeah, well, we fired a 10-win coach once upon a time.
That surprises me about NC State. I know they have never been like an elite football program in my lifetime, but they've only had one previous 10-win season ever.
Right. And I don't think Dave Doran's going to get fired.
They had Russell Wilson. They had Phillip Rivers.
Yeah. Now, here's what I would caution Alabama fans on. If Saban goes bad and wins 9 or 10, they're going to fire him probably. But get ready for that karma to come back at you. Because if Saban lost 3 or 4, you know what would happen. Those Alabama fans are used to winning now.
Well, I mean, they did
at a super high level.
Yeah, they had a stretch of average seasons with Mike Shula. For how many years was that for?
I don't know. But I would caution those Alabama fans. I would say, now look what happened to Nebraska. Look what happened.
They're going to always have the benefit of being in an area with more talent.
Yeah.
Than Nebraska is.
Absolutely.
But Texas is also a story too. I mean, Texas has been floundering for years now.
In an area that has a wealth. They have everything they need at Texas and still can't get
They've been floundering for about 11 seasons now. Ever since 2010.
See what Chris has to say. Chris has something on his mind.
Let's get a call from Chris from the Baldwin Shop on the Honda of Lincoln hotline 402-464-5685. Chris, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Good morning, Steve, Jake. Happy Wednesday to you guys.
Thank you for your patience, Chris. What's on your mind?
Oh, no problem. Well, first of all, Jake, I usually don't comment on your song of the day, but I loved it. Of course, anything you played before 1980, I give a 10.
All right.
You're a good man,
today.
Chris.
A 10 today for me.
I didn't know you had such good taste in music, but now I do. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, and your Gladys Knight and the Sips. Oh boy, that was a good one.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That makes sense, doesn't it? That makes sense.
Well, first of all, you guys, a little thing, John Madden, what a great coach, great personality. Steve, I was trying to think.
Okay.
Now, I see he started as a head coach in 1969. Now, what's killing me right now is, I was thinking maybe he took them to the second Super Bowl against the Packers and Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr and all those guys, but it wasn't. It was somebody else. Steve, as an old Oakland Raider guy, I need some help there.
I think that's John. I think that's John Rauch.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That name. See, I was thinking Tom Flores, but that's after Madden, isn't it?
Yeah, Flores is after Madden. I think we're talking about John Rauch, and I'm Googling right now. He was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders from 66 to 68. Would that make sense?
That's a short span, and I think he was pretty good too in those times.
Yeah, I'd have to check his record. 66 and 6. I mean, okay, here it is. Yeah, you're right. 3 years, John Rauch. His coaching record at Oakland with the Oakland Raiders, Chris, was 33-8-1.
Wow.
33-8-1. And he did coach Oakland in the 67 season when they lost to the Packers in Super Bowl II. You're exactly right. John Rauch.
Oh, yes, I remember watching that game. Now, Steve, Jake, I was an old NFL guy. Did not like the upstart AFL teams. Did not like them.
Okay.
But anyway, now it's all, everybody's all entwined after the 1970 merger. But John Madden's record, like you guys mentioned, 759 or whatever it was through 10 years, which in the NFL is a great record. I mean, that's superb. But what I don't understand why he didn't really make it to more Super Bowls. But Steve, I want you to think about this. There was a couple of Nebraska players on that 76 team. Now, I don't know if you remember who they are, but one I think played a pretty prominent part in that, and he was a linebacker.
Martin was his last name. Martin. I'd have to look at that.
I think you're thinking of Bob Martin.
Yeah, I am.
And I don't think he was on that team. There was a linebacker that played tackle here in the early 70s on those national title teams named Monty Johnson.
Okay. I do remember
and
that.
Monty Johnson and our All-American center in 74 and 75, Jake, that Rick Bonas was also on that team. And I think they moved Rick to linebacker there because, Jake, here's one for you. As an All-American center, he played at like 215 or 220.
Oh, man.
Raw bone, weight room fanatic. But out there, in the NFL, even at that time, you couldn't play center at that weight. So they moved him to linebacker. And, I don't know if Rick – I think Rick lives in Omaha now, but I don't know if he ever played much linebacker for him, Steve.
I don't know. But, yeah, Rick Bonas does still live in Omaha, and he turns up in some speaking engagements and things like that. But that's a great name to bring up. When you think of the great Nebraska centers, you don't necessarily think of Bonas, Rick Bonas, but he definitely belongs in that conversation.
He absolutely does. He paved this way after Doug Dumler. Now, you guys are talking about the bowl games also. A quick comment there. Sean Callahan made a great point. Are some of these teams just looking for excuses to get out of these bowls that they don't want to go? And, Steve, I've always thought this bowl situation is really saturated right now. And, when you got 80, 82, 84 teams, whatever it is, playing in bowls, man, and I know we're kind of in that, reward the participation trophy mentality, but it seems that, it's awful funny. You don't hear players opting out that are playing in the playoffs right now.
No.
Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and Cincinnati. Those players are – that's because those games are really important, and people are going to be watching them, But, I don't get this. Ohio State players, it's frustrating. You can kick this around as much as you want, but anyway, guys, hey, yeah, John Madden, great coach, and it's sure a loss. And but this bowl game situation, like I said, to just get out of it, just to throw out excuses, or use COVID as an excuse, which I'm not saying they did. We don't know that, but anyway, Guys, hey, great show as usual, guys, and I'm bringing a care package in tomorrow morning, so you guys brace yourselves.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for the call,
guys. Hey, I'm going to hang up and listen.
All right,
good stuff, Chris.
Yeah, he mentioned Rick Bonus. That's a great name to mention. He also asked the question of why did Madden not get to more Super Bowls, win more Super Bowls? Well, there's an easy answer to that. It's interesting. The Raiders won a division title in 7 of his first 8 seasons, Jake, but went 1-6 in conference title games during that span.
A lot of chances.
Yeah, so he did struggle in the playoffs a little bit before, but he did bring home the big one. A resounding victory. They clobbered the Vikings in that Super Bowl. It was just I get the chills, not because it's 40 degrees in here, which it is.
No, it's 70 in here, by the way.
But I get the chills thinking about that. All right, what else you want to talk about?
I want to ask, we got a few minutes for this. I want to ask you guys, 402-464-5685. I'm thinking about the future in the Big Ten West for Nebraska and everybody involved. And, for a long time, it seemed like Illinois was the perennial bottom feeder in the conference, right? The division, they were always the team that was your win.
Or Purdue.
Purdue has been their Northwestern has been their time to time. Then they bounce back up every other year.
Come on, Daryl Hazel was.
But yeah, Purdue before Jeff Brom, they were a disaster. Yeah, they were horrible for a couple years there. But my question is this: are the days of a perennial bottom feeder in the Big Ten West over? Nebraska was in the cellar last year with Northwestern. They both went 1-8 in conference play. Nebraska was not exactly a bad football team. They went 3-9. They had their issues that caused them to go 3-9, but they're obviously not getting blown out.
Right, not a bad
team.
Games. Not a bad
Northwestern
team.
Was bad this year. They were bad, but they typically bounce.
Good
back.
program though. Good program.
They bounce back from bad years, so you can't call them a perennial bottom feeder.
No, they're a good program. I mean, if you have any doubt about it, just get on Google and maybe do a virtual tour of their facilities, and then and you'll see Northwestern isn't going away. Not as long as Fitzgerald is in place and they have the facilities in place. No, think about it. When Nebraska entered the Big Ten in 2011, Purdue was awful. Purdue was
terrible.
Yeah. And, Illinois has been awful.
They've been pretty bad most of the time.
It sounds to me like you're banking on Bielema.
I am. Well, Bielema went 5-7 this year.
Right. And we're tough.
And they won, three conference games, 3 or 4?
Right. And they came for a fist fight too, right? That's what they're going to be.
In his first season.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be now, as long as he's there.
I don't think there's any way to call Illinois a pushover anymore. They're just not a guaranteed win anymore.
You raise a great point that the bottom, we used to think of Minnesota as a bottom feeder.
Sure. Yeah. Minnesota, Purdue, Illinois were seen as, hey, those are your wins. Northwestern, you felt good about, but they were a pest. And it was always Wisconsin, Iowa are tough. But now, you look at the schedule, you can't say, well, I feel good about winning that game. No. That's a win. Like, Nebraska was the bottom.
Nebraska's in a bear of a conference is what we're getting at. And the division is better than it was. It's better. Minnesota, by the way, flexed last night. I said 41-12 they would win. That's the score I threw out. Minnesota won 18-6. But as Sean alluded to, Minnesota, Jake, ran the ball 51 times for 249 yards.
Last night?
That's what I said would happen, though, right? You got to give me credit on that. I said they will pound West Virginia into submission.
One of those touchdowns was by an offensive lineman that weighs 380 pounds.
Right. Kai Thomas had the other touchdown. Kai Thomas ran. This is a Minnesota running back, a reserve running back in a bowl game, rushing 21 times for 144 yards and a touchdown. That's Kai Thomas. They had a second running back, Marquise Irving, run 19 times for 129 yards.
Solid.
Yeah, they had 2 backs go well over 100 in a bowl game.
There's always good days for your team.
Okay, Minnesota flexes. Minnesota gets to 9-4, Jake. That's good. I don't know why they're matched against West Virginia, which was 6-6, but that was an easy pick for a win, which is sort of illustrating your point. It was an easy pick. Minnesota's an easy pick in that.
Minnesota, like you said, when they entered the conference, Nebraska, Minnesota was not a good football
We didn't think
program.
about Minnesota being a challenge to Nebraska.
They were a team you thought might go 6-6 pretty much every year, maybe 5-7.
And now you know what we're talking about? Can Nebraska catch Minnesota?
Which is a sad thought, but it is true.
It just evolved that way, right? They got a good coach up there. They really do. And they have a very definitive style. You know, they have a mammoth offensive line.
Yeah, I saw this. This is from last night. The average weight of the starting O-line for the Gophers is 334 pounds.
Yeah,
the Vikings is 307 pounds.
See, the
average weight.
Minnesota's they've built an identity, and they're using their reserve running backs. These guys were third and fourth string guys, and they're still getting over 100 yards in a bowl game.
They have a big offensive line.
They have an identity.
Yes, they do.
They run the ball. And they're a tough outfit. What did they do? What did they do during the COVID year? They came in here down 33 players.
And they won.
Yeah.
That was a bad game plan for Nebraska that day. Bad game plan.
Yeah.
But they still beat you.
But anyway, your point, all this is to illustrate your point. Yeah, Purdue hires Jeff Brom, who I would call a big-time coach. Hasn't been perfect at Purdue, but Purdue was good this year. That's a good Purdue team.
And Purdue was, there's some questions about where's Purdue going before the season, right? They had a bad last couple years.
Yeah, they got walloped in the bowl game.
Yes, they did. They got killed by Auburn, I think, last year.
Yeah.
They just smoked.
Yeah.
But there was concern about, is this program going the right direction? And then this year they proved, we are.
They are. Yeah, they proved it.
O'Connell had a great year.
Part of the problem was Diaco. I'm not here to disparage Bob. I'm not. I do not get on that. I do not get on that train. I will not get on that train. But he was a big part of the problem there. They got rid of him, and that helped the defense.
Nebraska's best offensive game of last season, 2020, was against Purdue when they won that game on the road in West Lafayette.
Yeah, but this league it's good for Nebraska because you have to be good. You can't. It pushes you. It's pushing Nebraska. That Nebraska has to be mindful of Bielema and Brom, and
otherwise you'll be the bottom feeder.
Right. You'll turn into the bottom.
Right now you are this season. Don't let that fester and happen again.
Right. I don't think that's gonna. For the record, I don't think we're gonna see that.
I really don't think if you are a fan of a different team in this conference that you believe Nebraska will be down like at the bottom for very long. They were this season, and we realized it was a better team than the record indicates.
Can I say something?
Sure.
What Frost has done this offseason is pretty impressive. If we would have said going into this process on November 8th, when he let those 4 guys go, those offensive coaches, when he let those guys go, I don't know that we would have said that he would have ended up with what this staff is probably going to look like, which looks pretty good. I mean, if you would have told me you're getting Whipple from Pitt with what Pitt's doing, I would have said you're crazy. They ain't getting Whipple. I mean, look what Pitt did. A Biletnikoff winner and a Heisman finalist on an offense that was that was one of the nation's very best. Pitt was one of the best stories of the college football season. They went and got his offensive coordinator. Mickey Joseph is a slam dunk hire.
Great
a slam dunk hire. Okay, now you're probably looking like you're adding Bill Bush. Not now, people say, Sipple, that's not exactly a genius move. He's on the staff. Well, it's still a move, and it's a big move to get a guy with Bill's track record as an assistant, a guy who by the way, is the guy who recruited your last first rounder. He recruited Prince Amakamara to Nebraska, a guy that produced a Thorpe Award winner, a guy that was the defensive backs coach of the year nationally at Utah State. Well, let's put it this way, Jake. The guy knows quarterbacks a little bit. He recruited Alex Smith, the first overall pick in a draft, and Joe Burrow, the first overall pick in a draft. How many guys can say they recruited 2 guys? And Alex Smith was not a slam dunk. He wasn't a heavily recruited player. Bill's area was San Diego. And Alex Smith was not heavily recruited. That was a Bill Bush gut feeling. We got to get this kid. Little he's a skinny kid out in San Diego, but he convinced Utah to recruit him. Becomes the first overall pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith.
That's pretty impressive.
He stood on the table at LSU and said, if we get this kid, we'll win the national championship.
About Joe Burrow.
Yeah. It wasn't a slam dunk at LSU. That was not a slam dunk. He stood on the table for Burrow and said, this is what we got to get. This is the piece we have to get. And they got him. In part because Bill knew Joe's brother in Houston, his little brother, not Jamie, Dan. He knew Dan. Dan lived in Houston. He worked Dan. He kind of knows the dad. They don't know each other that well, though. Jimmy Burrow. He knew him, but not that well. But he closed those deals. So Frost has done a really good job. I mean, you can't say anything other than that. I like the Donovan Raiola hire. Now that's partly because of Dominic and my fondness for Dominic, but I think Donovan's a good hire. They're going to try to poke holes in that. I understand that. By the way, Dominic and his family moving to Chandler, Arizona. So that quarterback, Dylan Raiola, is going to play high school football in Chandler, Arizona going forward. They're moving out of Burleson, Texas. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, heading to Chandler, Arizona. There's a little tidbit for you.
Thank you. I like tidbits on this show.
You like tidbits?
You know what gives good tidbits is Parker Gabriel.
Oh, he's got
all
the
sorts of tidbits.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's next on Double Barrel Wednesday on Early Break in the Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies this morning, possibly some light snow showers before we clear things out a bit this afternoon. It will be chilly with a high of 29, a light northeast wind at 10. Mainly clear tonight, will drop to 13 for the low, but see a nice bounce back in temps tomorrow as highs will approach 40. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
A new Planet Fitness location is open near you. To celebrate, you can join for just $1 down and then $10 a month. We're squeaky clean and ready to welcome you with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out. So join the judgment-free zone today. We're ready when you are. Just $1 down, $10 a month. Offer ends soon. Join us today.
A brand new Planet Fitness location is now open at 84th and Lake.
Planet Fitness locations are independently owned and operated. See Club for details.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts. More celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. You saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Guys, we need to talk about a problem plaguing our society today: chronic fruitcake slander. Now, maybe you're thinking, I've had fruitcake. It's dry and heavy. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're eating the wrong fruitcake, because Grandma's fruitcake is anything but. Their recipe uses the highest quality fruits, hand-sorted nuts, and adds the perfect amount of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Their desserts are known and loved across the country, and they're made right here in Southeast Nebraska. If you haven't tried them yet, you're missing out. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
One-on-one with DP.
What's been the difference? I think it's a system that I formed for myself. And it didn't start here. Like we've talked about my history, I've played with Michael Porter and Trey Young, and I've played with these guys, and I started playing basketball when I was 8th grade, and I was the tallest dude, and I've just accepted it. I've learned to be okay with it, and I've just made it work for me.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is that time on a Wednesday where we talk to your colleagues at the Journal Star's Parker Gabriel, but not before we give him his proper introduction on this Double Barrel Wednesday. Double Barrel Wednesday. It's a Double Barrel Wednesday.
Double Barrel Wednesday had some pop in it. Very good job by Parker on Double Barrel Wednesday.
You guys know what day it is? It's Double Barrel Wednesday.
And we're now joined by your colleagues at the Journal Star's Parker Gabriel. Parker, you've been doing a lot of reporting over the last week. We'll get to that, all of that here in a second. But to start things off with that, Chubba Purdy, the Florida State quarterback in the transfer portal, got an offer from Nebraska. That's one guy you're looking at. What is your current update on Nebraska's search for a transfer quarterback, including Chubba Purdy, Parker?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I think the main thing, obviously, Purdy's in the mix. I think Casey Thompson from Texas is in the mix. There's probably a couple other names that we don't know categorically that are in the mix. And then one of the things to remember is, there's bowl games going on. Yesterday, the day before, today, tomorrow, New Year's Day, obviously, and there'll be more movement. Now, I don't know categorically that a Nebraska target is going to, quarterback they really like is going to get in the portal in the next few days or whatever. But I think the bottom line is there's just a lot of string left in that thread in the quarterback front. And one of the things that's interesting in the Chubba Purdy, offer makes you think he's got 4 years of eligibility left. A guy like Casey Thompson, Casey Thompson, I think, was in Adrian Martinez's recruiting class. He's a much older player. And so you just, you wonder if they might think about taking two. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. Don't think it's a sure bet either. But there's a lot of work left to be done on the quarterback front. But I also think, obviously they'd be happy if they had their guy in the boat and they were really happy about it. But I think that they feel like they're probably sitting in a pretty good spot still on the quarterback front as of, December 29th.
Parker Gabriel joins us, the Husker football beat writer for the Lincoln Journal-Star. There's also work to be done on the Nebraska coaching staff front, but you provided a degree of clarity with your writings yesterday, and I just want you to kind of lay out where you think this is going, especially as it applies to Mike Dawson.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where sometimes you look at situation and it just makes too much sense, and I think that's sort of where Nebraska's at with Mike Dawson. Obviously, when he started at Nebraska, he was a defensive line coach, went to the NFL, came back and coached outside linebackers. Now Nebraska's defensive line and outside linebackers, they're not exactly fully combined, but there's a lot of shared duties there, especially a guy like Garrett Nelson. he's playing even front defensive end. He's playing odd front, outside linebacker. I think Mike Dawson's going to just coach most of those guys. Is what it sounds like. They probably, obviously, we've seen this year around college football, strange things happen. Nebraska is not in any. I don't think they're in any big rush to. I think they'll just announce all of their coaching moves at one time, probably when they're all done. But I think the plan, and we've heard that the plan is for Mike Dawson to coach the defensive line, and then sort of, I don't know exactly how they'll term it, but be sort of the defensive front coach, defensive line and outside linebackers. That would leave Bill Busch to coach the special teams, most likely. Obviously, he's been an analyst. You guys were talking about him in the last segment. For the last year, he knows his way around the program, obviously, really well. And, oh, by the way, he's coached defensive backs and outside linebackers, and Nebraska has this sort of hybrid group of guys that Eric Shenander coached last year that are sort of like outside linebackers and sort of like defensive backs. So that picture, it just fits together really seamlessly. If they slide Dawson over and retain Bill Busch, all of that looks pretty clean. And those guys obviously are talented coaches. And then if those two fall into place, which we think they will, then the sort of last piece, for now at least, is to go hire a running backs coach.
And with that being said, Parker, do you have an idea of where they might go with that, if that's where they went to hire a running backs coach from outside the program?
Yeah, I mean, every time you go outside the program, which I think is what they're going to do now, that they could elevate Ron Brown. I just think if you sort of read the tea leaves, Scott Frost was extremely complimentary of Ron, like he always is. Last week on the radio, he also said he loves him in the role that he's got now, which is as an analyst. So, if they do go outside the building and look for somebody, there's a really wide net. All you have to do is look at a place where Nebraska's already hired from at LSU. There's a guy there in Kevin Falk who is he's sort of an up-and-coming coach. He's been a running backs coach for the last 2 years. And then look at teams that are playing in bowl games. Florida's interim head coach after they fired Dan Mullen was a guy named Greg Knox, who's 58. He's been coaching for a long time. He's the interim head coach. He also coaches special teams. There's all kinds of guys out there. We saw Dan Lanning get to Oregon and start to put his staff together and look around and say who's really good, and then decide to come after Tony Tuioti. So there's a lot of coaches out there. Obviously, there's a lot of running backs coaches out there. Doesn't necessarily have to be a guy who's out of a job and looking for a job. But there are talented people, even just in that bucket, that are out there that Nebraska could look into or at least kick the tires on.
Parker Gabriel joins us from the Wisconsin hinterland.
It is. It's cold up here, man.
Oh man, just okay. Well, if you need any help, let me know.
All right, thank you. You want to come shovel the driveway?
I would. I'll have a hard time getting there in a good time. But now,
give him 7 hours.
Now, this is an opinion question, Parker. But isn't it interesting? I know you have a lot of respect for Tony Tuioti. But the way this has worked out, it almost seems to mitigate the way the staff could be set up now. It almost seems to mitigate that loss. That's an opinion? Do you share that opinion?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do. I think Tony Tuioti did really good work. It's obviously going to be different, but college football staffs are different pretty much every year. I mean, there's just continuity to the extent that you're talking about 10 guys and your strength coach and your head coach and all of your staffers. Like, it just doesn't really exist for multiple years in college football. Everybody changes, and you either get better or you get worse. And one of the things that I think, simple, like last year when Bill Busch got hired as an analyst, one of the things that we just sort of said casually was like, yeah, I mean, next year if they lose a defensive coach, that would be a way to make that picture a lot easier to sort of figure out or smooth over. And you don't necessarily know for sure that that's how it's going to go. But that part of why that was such a slam dunk last year to do that was because of situations just like this one. You could have imagined a situation in which Bill Busch stepped in and filled a role on this staff, it could have been pretty much any coach on the defensive staff besides maybe Eric Chenander. You know, you could have sort of shuffled the board in not exactly the same way, but a similar manner had it been Tuioti or Mike Dawson or Travis Fisher or maybe even Barrett, you know, depending on how those cards fell. Like if one guy left, they essentially had a ready-made defensive coach. Now, he's, you know, they got to want him here. He's got to want to be here and all of that stuff. And it appears that that's all sort of, you know, worked out the way that it looked like it could work out, but it's still a good move. And that's why they did it, obviously, was to have his, you know, base of knowledge in the program for the last year. And now, you know, he steps in or is likely to step in. And yeah, you've got some continuity. You've got a guy who's been in the building for a year and who's obviously a talented coach. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty clean transition. Now, there's a lot of offseason to go still, obviously. But for right now, you know, Nebraska's in pretty good shape, in at least in that regard.
Parker, when we talk about the transfer portal, I mean, there's different angles on that. And the one angle I want to ask you about is, are you expecting much more movement in terms of the portal with current Nebraska players jumping into the portal? Are we still tracking that really closely right now?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily know that it's going to be like they're going to get back and start winter conditioning and there's going to be 7 or 8 more guys in the portal. I just, to me, like, and I think this is the way. There's been a couple times where there's been sort of clumps of Nebraska players that have gone in, like late last January. That was when Luke McCaffrey, Cade Warner, and Bo Wilson all went in on the same day. Something like that could happen. I don't know that it's going to, obviously. I think it'll be more like you'll look up in May or whatever, and between now and then, several more players will have transferred out. But it might feel like a bunch of guys are transferring, or it might just sort of be, you know, a guy here and there over the next few months. But, you know, right now, the way we've got it counted, I think they're at 89 scholarship players right now. Some of those are guys that have been put on scholarship, and those can be tough conversations too about whether you're guaranteed, you know, scholarship for the rest of your time or whatever. So there might be a couple of those. There's a couple guys like DeAndre Thomas that we have on the list that we're not sure if they're coming back, but one way or another, you know, they're probably looking at, I mean, assuming they add at least one quarterback, they could potentially add 2. You probably still want at least one offensive lineman. You're probably looking for an offensive skill player if you can find a difference maker. You might want a pass rusher if you can get your hands on one. So you're talking about 4 to 6 more transfers maybe on scholarship.
Yeah.
And that would mean that somewhere along the way, you've got to, you know, turn over probably 8 to 10 scholarships on your roster right now. So again, there's some guys we don't know for sure if they're coming back, but all of that adds up to, yeah, I mean, there's definitely more attrition coming. It's just a matter of how quickly and when does it happen.
Parker, always great stuff. Thank you for the time. We will chat with you again next week.
If you showed up and shoveled the driveway here next week, I would not even say shut up, Sipple, but I'm going to this week. Shut up, Sipple.
All right. Get your shovel ready. Don't hurt your back. You're in good shape, but don't overdo it.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Good stuff. Parker Gabriel, Lincoln Journal-Star. Always enjoy him for Double Barrel Wednesday.
Yeah, Parker, he's equal to that task of shoveling.
I like shoveling, but if you do it too much, it does hurt your back.
Yes, it does.
You got to be careful. Good form is the key.
Oh, good form.
Don't
That's the key.
overwork yourself. Take breaks if you have to.
I'd like to see your shoveling
Yeah,
form.
you should. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Is it beautiful?
I would recommend people watch it and, you know, document for their own sake.
Emulate it?
Emulate it, yes.
Okay, let's play the show. This is a big day.
Today is a big show for Shut Up Sipple. If you listened to the show yesterday, you know that Sip has lost 4 straight games. And look, Happer is already teasing you. He's got the Bagel Boy shirt out across the glass. If you lose if you lose today, you have to wear that shirt for the next segment during the spillover with Happer and Schaefer.
I do?
You do. That's the rules. Today you got to wear that. If you lose, if you don't, the shirt is not worn and you're safe. So
I'm going to take this shirt off and put it on in front of you, in front of everybody.
Oh, no. People don't want. We don't need to see.
Well, that's your punishment.
Moment. Okay, fine.
That's your punishment.
Today is a wild card Wednesday. It's been a long time since we've done this one. Advertising slogans from the present, and the past. 464-5685. Shut Up Sipple starts right now.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
The phone lines are jacked because people want to see this happen. They want to see you lose and don the Bagel Boy shirt. I don't want to see you have your bare skin as you take it off, but I guess if that's our punishment, then we can do it.
I don't know.
Happer,
I don't wanna lose my-
look at Happer. He's just like glaring at you.
I don't want to
with
lose
this
my
evil
job.
smile. Yeah. How do you feel about advertising slogans
Not
today?
great.
All right.
I don't think my record on this.
You haven't done great in this.
No.
Yeah, these are all brand new ones, too. Brand new.
I did.
Alex, how do you feel about advertising slogans of the past and present?
I think he's going to need a Bagel Boy sweatshirt today.
Oh, boy. You're in trouble. You are in trouble. Alex feels good. All right, Alex. Big game. Here's your first question for the lead.
A lot of pressure.
What food product has had the slogan, "Bet you can't eat just one"?
Lay's potato chips.
That is a good start for those who want to see the Bagel Boy shirt on.
Screwed.
1-0 lead
That's
for
what I
Alex.
am.
Look at Happer's face to get excited over there.
That was
Not over yet.
I did not know that one, by the way.
Okay, well, this is your first question, Sip, for the tie. What product is the quicker picker upper? Deep in thought. Again, the question is, what product is, quote, the quicker picker upper? It's a product. You have 5 seconds. You are looking petrified over there. Happer's all in your head right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Picker upper.
I need a guess. You're out of time.
I don't even have one.
All right, give you the horn still.
What is that? Oh, no.
Oh, now Schaefer's here to watch this all fall apart. Do you want this one, Alex, or do you want to pass on the quicker picker upper?
It's the lumberjack for the person, but I cannot,
I'd pass.
I'm going to pass. And it's like something, I'm going to pass.
Okay, all right. Happer, say please pass.
Happer,
The answer is Bounty paper towels. Bounty.
Oh, Bounty.
This
Should've
is
gotten
for the win for Alex to make you don the Bagel Boy shirt next segment and fall below 500 all at the same time. For the win, Alex. What restaurant had the slogan, "Think outside the bun"?
Taco Bell.
Oh boy. He's under 500. Look at Schaefer and Happer partying across the glass. The Bagel Boy shirt is dancing itself, and it'll be worn in this studio next segment with Happer and Schaefer. If you're watching on the video stream, you can catch that with Sip wearing the Bagel Boy shirt.
I don't know what
first time
to say.
ever.
No, I caved a little bit there.
Fell apart today.
Yeah, I fell apart. I
Well,
caved.
Well, we will. Alex, congrats. We get your bagels.
I
Thanks for
should've
calling it
gotten
and calling
Bounty.
down the road.
I should have gotten Bounty.
Alex
Yeah,
wins. tonight.
Alex,
And
good
we'll
job
get
by
Alex's bagels courtesy of Eagle Delivery, the official courier of the ticket.
All right,
And
let's
when we
do
come
this.
back, we
Let's do
will,
this.
let's get to Happer and Schaefer because it's time for them to gloat in you having to wear the Bagel Boy shirt. If you're watching, go right now on the Sauter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. The Bagel Boy shirt is on next on Early Break in the Ticket.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto in West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and now I'm protecting it with the COVID vaccine.
Everyone, even kids 5 years and older, can get the vaccine too. If you've been vaccinated, now you can get your booster shot if you qualify. Stay strong, get vaccinated, and learn more at healthylincoln.org.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air's motto is our family serving yours. That starts with how we hire. We go through an extensive interview process to really get to know you and show you who we are. We want to help you build a great career, be challenged, have fun, and bring home an excellent weekly paycheck. We offer competitive wages with benefits, including a day off for your birthday. Apply to be a part of the John Henry's family at jhlincoln.com. That's jhlincoln.com.
John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Breakfast time, brisket time, pork tacos, chicken tacos. You hungry yet? I can keep going. Pork or chicken, queso nachos, queso mac and cheese, hatch mac burritos. Now you're salivating. Muchachos is Lincoln's premier New Mexico barbecue fusion restaurant. You can't miss them in their bright blue building. Pair that great food with delicious coffee for breakfast and a variety of local and national beers on tap the rest of the day. Order your food online at yomuchacho.com or visit them in person at Muchachos on South 11th Street between L and K Streets.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I would encourage all of you, if you're not right
Jeez,
now,
Jake.
to tune in to the Sauter Heyman Jewelers video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube because you have a new shirt on since the last segment, Sip. What does it say on it?
Well, look at this. Jake.
Bagel boy!
Yes,
That was Happer.
That's Happer giving you.
Go ahead, Schaefer. Schaefer says it really well.
Come on.
Hey, Bagel boy!
Schaefer's got that down. Happer says it.
I got to
well.
read this. This came from the stream. Someone says, Happer looks so happy walking into the studio.
This is
Hashtag
it.
Bagel Boy.
This is my parting gift.
This is
Thank you
like
very
his
It
much.
is your
dream.
parting gift,
It's
and
his
Schaefer's too. I'm
Your
I
embarrassment.
better take a picture of
The
it too,
reason-
honestly. I better have that.
the reason I'm sort of okay with it is because it does bring joy to a couple guys that are leaving us.
You know, you still haven't got a question right all week.
Yeah, you are.
I am
over
what,
on the-
Jake?
over on the whole week.
Okay.
We're trying to end the year with
Another
a bang.
kind of bagel.
Yeah, this is the wrong bagel.
I'm just like one of the Royals in a slump, or one of the
we've
Cleveland
seen
Indians
that
in a
before.
slump. Yeah,
Yeah, Ryan O'Hearn,
yeah.
We've seen that before.
I'm just in a slump.
career-long slump.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull out of it.
but you're below
Trying to think if
500
there's any
now.
Royals with the last name that starts with like BAG, so
Yeah.
I could work that into it.
This is a rough day, but it is better because the smiles on those guys' faces.
The shirt looks pretty good.
You
honestly.
rationalize it to yourself however you want.
They're taking great delight in my pain, which is fine. I mean, I can deal with it. There's a lot of things I have to deal with on a daily basis.
This is Bagel Boy. Can't get over
Someone
the
on
shirt.
Twitter was just finally like that was their response.
It finally happened.
Finally.
He finally has to wear the Bagel Boy shirt.
If not just us, you're bringing joy to the people.
Yeah.
There was another prospect brought up in the break. If you go further down this streak of
over
losing.
10.
Over 10.
So that's 5 more losses.
What are we talking about here?
I think
I
believe it was that you walk into Bagels and Joe and start just handing out bagels to everybody.
The bagel boy shirt
with this shirt.
You're just like, I'm here to work.
You're to work for an hour.
There would be a resignation
What if you
involved
walked
in
up
that.
to the cashier? You just walk up to the cashier and be like, I've served more bagels than anyone in this company.
With a bagel boy shirt.
Yeah, I think you should have
I
like a
can't see
knapsack,
me wearing this
start
in
pulling
public.
them out and throwing them all around.
Are we in
Bagel boys here?
Are we in
They should
public
do that
right
as
now?
they should do that as a bit, like once a day. You know, like Texas Roadhouse, they get up sometimes and they start dancing.
Yeah, they do. They
like
do.
Simple.
What are you saying?
Simple comes in,
To
you know,
Bagels and Joe.
once a week at whatever
And do
random
what?
time, and
Do what?
and he has a knapsack and he starts chucking bagels out to everybody.
With the bagel
With
boy
a bagel
shirt.
boy shirt on?
Is there any concern on your part? 'Cause
Bagel
you know there's
boys
people
here.
over in the athletic department that listen. That this could track you into an interview type setting. Oh, what you got for me today, Bagel Boy?
Yes.
Oh,
there's a
man.
lot of concerns
This
right
shirt
now.
is just
I hope
beautiful.
so.
Yeah,
It's
the
a
main
beautiful
concern
shirt.
was if I was still working downtown when I was walking around, that I was going to get what, Schaefer?
Hey, Bagel Boy!
that.
From across the
Bagel boy?
street.
Yeah. I mean, no.
It's just beautiful.
Is it beautiful?
It is a.
Well, you
it's
had
a
an
beautiful
opportunity
moment.
to you had an opportunity to not make this happen.
What was the game fair today?
Yeah,
I
You
thought
listened?
so.
It
Yeah,
was.
You guys thought I might cater it to Sip. I
I'm
did
not sure that I would have got any of them, to be honest with you.
So you have done that game like where
I've done
feel like it was a
slogans before.
throwback Thursday,
Yeah.
and there was like slogans from the 70s and
Yep.
80s.
Yep.
And it was very difficult. So I felt like this was being a little more contemporary.
Contemporary. It was fair. I'd say it was fair. I have no problem with the game. I have a problem
You
with
can
the
wear
shirt.
that shirt all day. today?
No, yeah. I'm gonna wear it all day.
Hey, it looks pretty good.
You said it fit you pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes a lot of places, right?
You
It
really
helps
think I'm
out.
gonna wear this in public?
Why wouldn't you? Schaefer wears funny shirts all the time.
Bagel Boy's going a little too far.
I don't think I would wear a Bagel Boy shirt.
I love how embarrassed you are of it because I don't know.
I think it looks good, Happer.
Like Jake said, it
could have been a worse shirt.
Yeah,
really.
it could have been a much worse deal.
What could be worse?
You could have a giant bagel with a
What,
face
what
on
could
it.
be worse than this? It's,
Yeah,
it's
there's a lot-
shirt that
there's
says
a lot
Bagel
worse
Boy.
than
One
that.
of our esteemed listeners could create a logo that's just a bagel with your face on it.
We could have got you a full bagel outfit, like you
And it just said
a bagel costume,
Yeah, well,
like Schaefer's
this
hot
is-
dog costume. We could have got you a whole bagel costume,
bacon.
There's a
or
lot of-
bacon. Yes.
Yeah, the bacon
I am
costume.
mildly
I only have a
concerned.
hot dog hat. Let's get this correct. Which I got packed up and moved, and Shelby gave me the weirdest look when I put it in a box.
You want to get rid of
keeping
this?
the hot
You're
dog
taking
hat?
that, huh?
Oh, you bet I'm
Like,
taking
yeah,
the
it
hot
can
dog
be
hat.
used at any time. I don't know. I want to be able to deploy it when necessary.
Yeah.
Oh,
good
here we
thought.
are, guys.
Well, congrats
Here we are.
to Happer and Schaefer for getting their month-long wish of having Sipple in a Bagel Boy shirt.
6 weeks or so.
Month and a half.
I can't believe it happened. I was doing
Oh,
really
you
well.
really you can't believe it happened.
I was doing well.
You don't have
You
exactly
admitted
the best
last
track
week
record.
that you were sort of off of it.
I caved today. I mean, let's face it. The pressure was significant.
And you had them watch. Happer comes in flaunting the shirt across the glass
Yeah,
to
Happer's
really
the-
rattle you.
Happer's the whole thing of like staring me down, and
He was giving you.
It's mental warfare.
It was-
I was
it
coming
was
to the
out.
station, and I heard Jake say that this was going to count for an 0-5, and I was like, I got to get there faster.
Yeah,
I need
you
to
got
be
here on
Schaefer
time.
watched the whole game happen over here.
Yeah.
You just weren't flaunting the T-shirt. That's what Happer was doing. So,
all right. Do you have any thoughts on John Madden?
yes, John Madden passed away at age 85 yesterday morning.
I changed the subject.
So this could be just a completely ridiculous theory, but there's a part of me that wonders if the NFL would have gotten as popular as it did, as fast as it did, without John Madden's presence. I mean, both as a coach and then as a broadcaster, people connected with him. They wanted to watch games that he was doing. I mean, he really, I think, helped make it go from regional to national with his broadcasting and kind of his effect on the game. And then, you know, last year I was listening to a book that talked about how the birth of the Madden football franchise came about in the video game thing. And they wanted to do it as an initial 7. Like, it's funny. They wanted to do like a 7-on-7 concept because they couldn't get the graphics to have 11 men for both sides of the field.
Interesting.
And Madden, they went to Madden with that. And like in a very Madden voice, he's like, "That's not football." And so he refused to put his name on it unless they had 22 men on the field.
Interesting.
At all times.
That's
And
beautiful.
so
That's a beautiful
you think
story.
about like if they would have just like, all right, well, we don't need him. They try to move forward with it. It would have died. Like his name allowed that franchise to flourish, which allowed him to have another legacy beyond just being an incredible coach. Some people don't even realize how good of a coach he was, in addition to being a broadcaster and a spokesman and everything else.
That's a great story, by the way, that Madden would not sign off on that.
Yeah. He's just like, that's not football.
Yeah. Interesting.
3 legendary careers all wrapped up in one person. That's pretty wild. Or 3.
His Q rating has to be enormous.
Right.
Like you don't even have to be an NFL fan to know who
Madden.
John Madden is.
Yeah. And people right now, like he's 85 years old, kids don't know who he is really, but they know about Madden.
It's become people's first name. Like it's his last name got so big that people use it as a first name now. Like I know several kids who are named Madden because of John Madden.
Interesting.
Like that's wild. To
Madden.
have that
I
big
say
of an impact.
when stuff is difficult in my life, I say that it's all Madden occasionally.
Really?
I have said that before. Yes. It's all Madden.
Explain that.
Like that's the hardest difficulty on Madden. All
Oh,
Madden.
Like, it's like patently unfair. It basically
Oh,
feels like
it's all
everything's
Madden.
being lined up against you.
all
I
Madden.
totally understood the reference. I got it.
Thank you.
Thank
I was telling
Thank
Sip that
you.
my first memory of watching NFL was Pat Summerall and John Madden, and then Al Michaels and John Madden eventually. So my first, when I was a kid below 10 years old, I thought that was the deal. That was the guy.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's somebody that was broadcasting for a long time, and I think a lot of people have that thought about John
Yeah, it's
Madden.
interesting. This just the age thing in here because when I think of Madden, I think of the glory years of the Raiders, and when I was still following the NFL, and he was the man. I mean, he personified the Raiders in many ways. He let the players be themselves. That was his style. He was a great coach, but he wasn't. He was a disciplinarian, but only with certain things. He let you be yourself. Like combed hair wasn't a big deal to him. How they dressed wasn't a big deal to him, but offsides was a big deal to him. And failing to execute a block was a big deal to him, or a tackle. He was a disciplinarian in that sense, but he let the players be themselves. So he kind of
Is John Madden why you're a Raiders fan?
Not necessarily. It was more player oriented. Bolitnikov's like Stabler.
So when they won the Super Bowl, how old were you?
10, and it was a glorious day.
That's about the right age.
Yeah, 10.
Was it the first Super Bowl where you have the iconic image of the players holding him up and him with his hand?
Well,
up
he
in
only
the air?
won one. It was 76.
Okay.
Yeah. He won one in
But he
76.
played in a couple, right?
I don't know. He might. No, he wasn't.
Or he didn't play in a
He
couple,
didn't
but
play.
he-
No, he won. He was only coached in one.
Okay.
I
For some reason,
believe.
I thought that they had.
Oh, he might have been a linebackers coach in one too.
Okay.
He was hired as a linebackers coach originally, and then replaced John Rauch about 3 years into his tenure with the Raiders. But I was more about the players than him. But I liked him obviously. But Stabler, Bolitnikov, Gene Upshaw, Mark Van Egan, Casper, those guys were. That's what made up.
I just love the Madden Cruiser because he didn't like to fly.
Yeah, the
Madden.
Madden
He wanted to drive.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, he would like do 2 to 3 days of traveling in the bus to get to his
Claustrophobic.
next broadcast.
Yeah, he was claustrophobic.
It's awesome.
He also, if you look at this photo from the Super Bowl, he basically looked the same his entire life.
Yeah,
kind of did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
Looked
now that
the
you
same
mention it,
face,
Just a
the
big
same-
happy guy.
Big jolly guy.
Yeah.
Hair color changed, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm glad you guys are impacted.
yeah.
By
R.I.P.
the-
John Madden,
yeah, thank
age
you,
85.
What else is on
And
your minds?
there was just the documentary that came out this past weekend. Right?
Wasn't that
Yeah,
Christmas Day?
I didn't watch it.
I haven't
need to
watched it
watch
yet either.
now.
Yeah, it needs
It's
to be
called All
watched. It needs to be watched. I haven't
By all
watched
of
it,
us.
but a lot of people were sending me that last night. You need to watch this, including John in Des Moines, by the way. Thank you, John.
Crazy coincidence that just I hadn't thought about John Madden in a long time.
Yeah, that was one of those. So someone sent a text, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
You're just like, "Oh yeah," because he kind of just after his broadcasting career, like obviously the football video game kept coming out, but he kind of receded back a little bit.
Mhm.
You don't know if it was like a health thing or to just go live the rest of your life without having to be in the public spotlight.
Mhm. The death was unexpected.
that's what they said. Yeah,
Yeah.
not sure what happened.
85.
John Madden.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hot route! Red 7, red 7, red 7! Hot route! Down, set, hut.
What is worse, not qualifying for a bowl game or having your bowl game canceled 5 hours before it was supposed to be played?
Or wearing a Bagel Boy
in the
shirt.
holiday bowl. Or wearing the Bagel Boy shirt.
Or wearing a Bagel Boy.
3 options there.
I would say not qualifying.
Yeah, definitely not qualifying. It meant you didn't win games.
Yeah, I know. It just sucks. Like you have this trip planned, and you're there because it's happening 5 hours from that point.
Unbelievable.
And it doesn't happen.
Strange.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating, but at least you got to have a good season.
At least you're in San Diego, I guess, right? That's a good place to
There
be.
was like some drama there too. There was some accusations of but then
there was drama.
Yeah, and then they were like,
Sybil was following closely.
It was interesting. It was Dave Dorrance.
Yeah, what was the quote?
Saying I felt lied to, honestly, which was really interesting.
The head coach
and players accusing.
they were saying that they had like a team vote
Yeah,
or something like that.
I don't think any of that is true, by the way, but
I would hope not.
NC State athletics rough run with with
COVID.
in postseason play.
Yeah,
baseball team tough.
Oh God, that's right.
Yeah, they were going to win the College World Series, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
They were the hottest team.
Yikes!
You got COVID and out.
Sucks.
So they're still there, and there might be an opponent, which is I don't know who we're talking about. But
who knows?
The NC State is still in San Diego, awaiting the possibility.
Just checking out the gas lamp district, having fun out there.
Is that what they're
doing?
Yeah.
The Rams and the Chargers practice squad show up.
There you go.
Practice squad. There you go.
They
Play
can
the
have
squad.
round 2 of seeing beluga whales.
Yeah, what are they doing, Jake? What are they doing?
Probably
We were
the
just
San
in
Diego Zoo today, checking out. You can
The
spend,
beluga
you can spend
whale.
6 hours at that zoo. I spent 6 hours there. It's a long
6 hours
time.
at the
Do
zoo.
you live in a place with a renowned zoo?
I
and you
just
spent 6
listen. It
hours
was
in a
not
place
my
with a zoo?
choice to go there. It was part of the plan for others, and I went along with it. It was fine. It was good.
Did you?
Like
you
the
so
zoo.
you enjoyed
Omaha
it?
and San Diego have a zoo rivalry.
I know, and that's why I want to see if it was truly better.
So
I would
which one
say
do you
Really,
prefer?
what you did is you
I
went
think-
and supported the Creighton of zoos.
I think the Henry Dorley Zoo is better than the San Diego
All right.
Zoo.
Do you?
Because
There you go.
because
Like,
they,
Jake over here, the
GBR.
Creighton of zoos.
this is why, because you got to deal with more uncertain weather.
Okay.
Here, it's always 72 degrees in San Diego. It was
And that's
65.
bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a say. Well, they're spoiled. Like we have torrential snow, we have hot weather.
You say our
Has snow ever been described as torrential?
you say our zoo has more character.
Yeah, we got character, and we're built for
That's right.
everything.
That's
they don't.
right.
They got to be built for one thing and one thing only.
Okay, that's good. I
perfect weather.
appreciate that, Jake.
Henry Dorley Zoo over the Omaha Zoo. Happer and Shaper is next for Steve Sybil. I'm Jake Swords. See you.
Bagel boy.